Good evening. My name is Aneta Sobotka, and I have an honor to open this seventh Women's Congress in Brussels, titled Girls, Love, Women in the Church, and Anti-Violence Thinking. Sorry for this delay, but we had some technical problems, but I think now it's all right. So the Congress is organized by a feminist organization from Brussels, Elles Sans Frontières. Unfortunately, this year we are meeting again online, but I hope that this remote form will let more people to participate and to watch later our discussion. So first of all, I would like to thank Wysokie Obcasy for the media matronage of our Congress. For those who do not know, Wysokie Obcasy is a supplement to one of the biggest daily in Poland, Gazeta Wyborcza. I would also like to thank the regional office of the West Pomeranian Voivodeship for their financial support of the Congress. And of course, our mastermind, Agata Araszkiewicz, who it was her idea to organize this panel discussion about girls and girls' empowerment. And before we start, I would like to invite you to watch a very short ad of a cosmetic line developed by the Polish feminist organization, Feminoteka. Okay, so now I think we can really start. So welcome again, and let's begin our panel discussion titled How to Empower Girls, a brief herstory of girls' centers. So let me just explain at the beginning that every time we speak about girls, we of course mean all persons who have been socialized as girls and who identify themselves as girls. So you may think that the idea of educating girls in a particular way is a new concept, but actually already in 16th century, Montaigne was criticizing girls' education, which was limited to teaching them about marriage and love. Unfortunately, his concept was dominated by the approach of Rousseau, who had a very different perception of what boys and girls should be taught, arguing that girls from an early age should be prepared to their roles of mothers and wives, and they should be even discouraged of developing their talents or interests. Today, with our great experts from Poland, Germany, and Belgium, we will discuss how to raise strong, brave, and independent girls. We would like to present you the idea of empowering centers and some interesting initiatives on new concepts of raising girls. So my first guest is Agata Toć. Agata is from Krakow. She's a feminist activist with 25 years of experience, certified empowerment vendor and anti-discrimination trainer, supervisor, and expert. She is an author of many projects, but I'm not going to list all of them because today we want to talk about her one of her greatest projects, which is first Girls Empowerment Center in Poland. She opened it in Krakow. So Agata, please tell us, why did you decide to open the center? What do you do there? And why it is important in our culture for girls to have their own place? We will start your presentation.
Yes.
Okay.
I think this is not my presentation, but
okay.
But first, I would like to thank you very much for invitation, and it's great, in my opinion, that you decided to start the Congress with the discussion about girls' empowerment. And I just have a question. Do you have the presentation, or should I go just without the presentations? Should I?
Maybe you can try to go without a presentation, or you can share it by yourself.
Okay, let's start. So the first question is why we need girls empowerment centers, and I see two reasons. First of all, because of the discrimination and violence faced by girls and young women, and I believe this is against human rights and this is unfair. And the second reason is because the world is in a huge crisis, and we really need the potential of girls and young women to change the world. And if we start from the very beginning, we can remind the messages which girls receive. For example, so pretty and she gets angry, or you run like a girl, or be careful because you get dirty, stop laughing, don't get smart, you should clean up and look after others, you are weak or too weak, etc. And I also heard such messages, and probably a lot of you too. And these messages affect girls and young women in many ways. And girls learn to be submissive, to be obedient. They learn to limit themselves, limit their dreams and plans, and they learn to be afraid. And gender stereotypes and the harmful and limiting message coming from the media, from social media, from families, from peers, at schools, they result in the consolidation of negative beliefs of girls and women about their own gender, their own predisposition and abilities. And girls learn that they are not able to make decisions, they are not good enough to play football, to build spaceships, etc. And girls are not rewarded for independence, for self-determination, and they are not taught how to resist violence, how to stand up for their own opinions, how to react when their safety is in danger. And simply, girls and young women don't use their potential to make the world we all live in a better place for everyone. And Autonomia, so the foundation which opened the first girls empowerment center in Poland, struggles for every single girl and woman safety and courage, so they can make their own decisions freely, so they can develop and join their efforts to change the shape of the world together. Our slogan is strength, courage, and solidarity. And what was the beginning? In 2004, I completed the 3 years training for Vando trainers, so feminist self-defense trainers, and I started to run workshops, Vando workshops for women and sometimes for girls. In 2007, we founded Autonomia Foundation, and we tried to organize some workshops, but it was only few times a year. And since 2015, we have been celebrating International Girls' Day. And this is the day which promotes activities against gender-based violence and discrimination, which girls face. And this day we promote also activities. So we invited girls and teenagers to experience activities which are traditionally reserved for boys. But very soon we decided that we need a space for everyday work, because we think that girls and teenagers, they deserve to be able to be their power on a daily basis every day. So in 2019, we opened the Girls Power Center. And as you said, this is the first and only one in Poland, but we really want to open more such places in all over Poland. So in 2019, we rent a place which we have renovated by our own hands, and our place is accessible, so wheelchair accessible, and all of our activities are free of charge. And this is important because accessibility is something what is really, really important for us. So it's really, maybe I will show you some photos after my presentation, but what we do in Girls Power Center, so we offer a lot of workshops, like vendor workshops, Girls Have the Power workshop, consent workshops, we organize bivouacs, Girls Power Summer and Repairing Cafe, and we also have theater workshops, a lot of different activities. And during the 1.5 year of our activities, we around 250 girls and teenagers benefited from those activities. But because we do not have now, we do not have public finance since 2016, when Ministry of Family Affairs, so Labor and Family Affairs, decided to take back the money which we had for anti-violence project, because they said that we are running, homo propaganda in schools. So since that time, we do not use public funds, and this is really, really complicated to run Girls Empowerment Center every day without stable finances. And what I really want to add is that in 2019, we decided that we need a kind of standards of empowerment work with girls, and we invited our partners from Potsdam, from Cinzig and Autonomous Friend Centrum, and Garons from Belgium to run a joint project devoted to empowerment of girls and young women. And during 2 years project, we shared our experiences, our knowledge, we analyzed them, and we created a kind of standard of empowerment education and running centers, empowerment centers for girls. And all those results were published, and they will be available very soon on our website, so everyone can use them in their own efforts to create better and more equal world for girls. And maybe what is important, I said at the beginning that we need Girls Empowerment Center also because the world is really in bad condition. Maybe it's important to say that today is 29th of November. This day is International Day of Human Rights Defenders, Women Human Rights Defenders. And this day we commemorate the work of girls and women who are active in defending women's rights and who are active against discrimination and violence based on gender. And I really think that the world is in really bad condition. We have a pandemic of violence, war, climate catastrophe, and we want girls and young women to play important role in the change which is needed. And so we need centers to support girls to be courageous, conscious, and strong, and change the situation of our societies and communities. So maybe now I will be able to show you. Oh, yeah, we have the presentation. Sorry, I didn't know that. So now you can see some pictures from workshops. So those are workshops on bicycle repairing. And if you can change slides and show next ones, they illustrate what we do. So this is a vendor workshop for girls, for example, and on the next slide, you can see, yes, we organize sometimes like sessions of reading books with girls, books on strong girls, about strong girls or women. On the next slide, yes, here you can see the group of teenagers who are participating in vendor training, and all of them are happy because they broke a piece of wood with their own hands, and this is what they really like. This is the photo from the meeting where we asked girls about what they think, how Girls Empowerment Center should looks like, what should we offer in the center, how they what kind of place they need. And next slide, yes, so, and this one and the next one, those are photos from public actions made by girls, because we really want girls to be active in public life and to protest when their rights are limited, or this one photo is about climate change, and they strike because of the climate catastrophe. And they were asking people about what they can do to change the situation. Next slide is this is a workshop on girls' rights in different parts of the world, because this global perspective is something what we think is important. So we want girls not to be focused on their own situation, but to see more and to know more about the situation in different parts of our world, of the planet. Next slide, yes, the same. And you can show next slide. Yeah, here they prepare t-shirts with their own slogans, and so there were some like I know what I want to do. I would like to. I want to decide by myself. Different kinds of slogans connected with women's emancipation. This is this is a photo from our international summer workshop, and those two girls are from Germany, and this is a vendor training, in very nice surroundings. Thanks. And next one. Yeah, the same workshop, international workshop, and it was a meeting of girls from Poland and Germany, and they were talking about, they were experiencing some workshops connected with empowerment. Next, please. Yeah, so as I said, sometimes we organize also climbing workshops, and here you can see indoor climbing workshops, and next slide is about outdoor climbing workshop. Yes, and on the next slide, I think you will see, yes, the international group of, those are women from our partners organizations. And so you can see here, people from Germany, from Belgium, and from Poland. And the last one picture, those are those guides, publications devoted to empowerment education, empowerment centers, and competences of empowerment educators. So they will be available on our website, I think, this week. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Agata. It was very interesting, and you organized a lot of different activities. So I'm wondering, how come you have so many like different trainers for these activities? Because I guess these are like not just let's say standard trainers, but because always there needs to be this empowering idea behind every activity. Do I understand it well, that they always have this special program of empowerment?
I think what is the most important is the attitude. So this is something under the surface. So in our publications we try to explain how to be an empowerment trainer or empowerment educator, and this is not. Of course, you can be prepared, like professionally prepared, but also it's about values you believe in or you practice. And maybe girls and women, actually young women from Simziken, they will tell more about how the process look like, because they are the most important participants of this meeting. But so we have different trainers, and we collected the group, or we are in contact with women who are trainers in different areas, because we are actually running our foundation since 2007. So we have a lot of colleagues and a lot of volunteers also who are ready to run such workshops.
Thank you, Agata. I want to stress again what Agata said, that they participated in this project and they developed the model. So it means that this idea can be shared with others, that we can have more such centers in Poland, not only this one in Krakow. So if somebody is interested, the idea and the procedures of the operation and so on, they are there. So thank you, Agata. We will, I think, come back that in the later. And now I would like to ask a hint to join us. Yes.
Hi.
Hi, hello, Hint.
Thank you, Agata. Those were very nice pictures. Really, it's really nice to see all those smiles and all that energy. Thank you very much.
Yes, so let me introduce you, Hint. So Hint is from Belgium. She's a feminist. She's a self-defense trainer for girls and women, and an anti-racism activist. So Hint, please tell us, because we heard how it looks in Poland, that it's so difficult also from this systemic point of view, that there is no financing for such activities, and this is like even it goes against the whole system. And how it is in Belgium. Tell us about your activity. What do you teach girls, and how it's supported by the state or the region, And as you focus mainly on self-defense, maybe you want also to tell us like why we need to teach girls in such young girls self-defense, why it is important.
Thank you very much for giving me this platform to explain a bit what Garance does here in Belgium and the idea of feminist self-defense. Garance started 20 years ago, and the idea behind Garance was that at the time a lot of energy was put into rescuing victims of domestic violence or violence based on gender. And the idea was that we as women should have the tools to prevent those violences. So that's why Garance was founded 20 years ago, to give women tools to be able to defend themselves in different contexts. Why feminist and why self-defense? Self-defense is all kind of tools that are available for women that they can choose of, and those self-defense tools are verbal and non-verbal self-defense tools. And the feminist pedagogy that's behind it is also really important, because self-defense without the acknowledgement of the context where those violences are, the context of those violences, you don't have the real means to work out a real good self-defense strategy. What I mean by that is that a lot of self-defense trainers, that it's really how will I put it it's really hype for the moment. Self-defense is really hype. You have a lot of different courses that are merchandised for different types of people, but certainly for women. And you have ancient police officers that offers self-defense trainers, or boxers and other specialists in martial arts that offer self-defense without acknowledging the gender-based violence that women face, and that's an issue. There is also the feminist pedagogy that's behind our work, is that we don't have a teacher approach. We think that women and girls developed their own tools during their lives. They have knowledge that they ingrained with their different experiences, and the feminist pedagogy that we try to develop is to create spaces where those knowledges can be gathered and shared with all the women that are in those spaces. Well, I will set here I will answer the questions one by one. And one of the questions that you sent me was who are the girls that come to our centers or workshops, preferably, because we don't really have a center. We have a space that's available for our workshops. But it's not really a center. It's not accessible every day for everyone. It's really accessible only during the workshops that we organize frequently with a general public of women and of girls. The girls that come to our workshops are mostly referred to us by their parents, and often the parents come to us with the big question and the big fear that their girls are growing up, and they realize that they're growing up in a violent society, and they want to give their girls all the tools to be able to live a successful and harm-free life. And those are the girls that come. So a lot of those girls are already victim of violence at school, violence from home, violence in the streets. They are harassed in the streets. They are harassed at school. They are sometimes témoins. They see the violence that occurs in the couple of their parents, in their family. They also experience young love and the violence that goes often with it, because the youth reignite what they see and redo what they see, often what they see in their parents, what they see in the cultural sphere, in the cultural media, in the media, and so forth, and so those girls don't come with a blank sheet. They come in our workshops with a baggage, with a lot of questions, with a lot of clear and really clear and specified questions on how to preserve themselves, how to have the tools to be able to participate in all the activities of social life. They really don't want to be put away in little boxes, or being how do you say it, sheltered from the world. And so the third question that you sent me was why at an early age. And it's like Agatha said before, girls don't come in a as a blank sheet. They come in families that are ingrained in the context that they live in. They come with a social baggage, economic baggage, their cultural baggages from where they come from, or if they come from the country that they live in, or they coming from other countries. All those contexts make them come to our workshops with a lot of, like I said before, with a lot of baggage that need to be deconstructed in a way that empowers them, and the way that we try to do that is to give them a lot of possibilities. The tools that we give them, we don't give them one tool. We try to give them a real variety of different tools that they can play with and explore with what's easiest for them and what's comfortable for them. Also, with the question before of who are the girls, I think it's also really important to address the accessibility. Like Agatha said, you have the financial accessibility that is important. You have the logistic accessibility that is important, but you also have the cultural accessibility that needs to be thought of. People from different cultures, from different origin may have a different approach on different questions, and that needs to be kept in mind to be able to reach also those discriminated categories of people. The threat here in Belgium, our biggest threat, is that we don't have finances to work out workshops in for only women. We in Belgium we have a big cultural theme, paradigm on which all the subsidiary works, and that is everything needs to be in mixity. So nothing can be specifically worked out for girls. It always has to be for girls and boys. But in reality, what we see is that a lot of the finances that's put in youth goes effectively only for the boys, because often the boys are the one who make the most noise, who needs to be more controlled and more controlled. Their violence need to be more controlled. So the most of the finances that goes in those youth houses are practically goes only for boys. So it's really important for us to stimulate the idea that the idea and the concept that women and girls empowerment centers are really needed here in Belgium and everywhere in Europe, because to really put like you say, it's not big, to make an egalitarian society possible. Voilà. Thank you for your patience, and hopefully I can answer your questions.
Thank you so much, Hind. It was very interesting, and I think that for our for people watching us from Poland or with Polish background, I think it's quite surprising that you also face such big challenges when it comes to financing, because we would expect that that in Belgium it would be much easier when it comes to such initiatives. And also, like, to me, it's quite surprising, this policy of that always you need to support both boys and girls, because as I understand, if it's the other way, it's considered as not fair, or
as a discrimination.
As a discrimination.
Discrimination against the boys.
What about a positive discrimination, or like
non-existent in Belgium?
Trying to solve a particular problem of a discriminated group.
Yeah, that's what we try to explain to the subsidiaries, that it's not only a word that we need to on egalitarian. It's not only a word; it's something that you need to work on, and to see the specific obstacles that women and girls face to be able to participate on the same level as the boys and men. I mean, when in youth houses, when the infrastructure is financed, the finances for infrastructures goes only for football, or for the you see what I mean, only for a male perspective of what boys need, and girls don't have any space in those youth houses. So the boys take the space, and the girls are at 12 years old. They don't go there anymore, because they don't feel they have the space and the safety to be themselves in those spaces. So we have that we have that big issue with that here in Belgium.
Mm-hmm. I really liked what you said about this creating a place, a space where the knowledge is gathered, not that they are taught something, but that you base on their experiences and you just gather it, and this is the way of learning. I think this is a very nice concept.
Yeah, we have a basic knowledge, but our knowledge is only because we worked a long time with different women, and we had the opportunity to gather their knowledge and to put it together. And our only role is when we go back to those groups to be able to give back what we received in the other groups, with a little bit of more reflection on the a little bit more expertise on what self-defense is, because we had specified courses on that.
Mm-hmm. And tell me, because you organize courses both for adult women and for girls, so is it often that, for example, a mother participates in a training and then her daughter joins, or this is rather not a family thing?
No, we try to work on with age-specific groups.
Mm-hmm.
Even with the youngsters, an 8-year-old won't be comfortable with an 18-year-old, and vice versa. So we really try to. We made 4 categories: 8 to 10, 10 to 12. Wait, no, 8 to 12. Sorry, 12 to 14, 16. Sorry, and then 16 to more. That's 3 categories, and then we have the adult part. And even so, we also try to make specific workshops depending on the public. We also try to work out courses for people with mobility issues and so forth. So we really try to work out workshops that are specifically designed for target groups.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so thank you so much, Hint. It was very interesting, but I think not very optimistic, because we always expect that in other countries the world is better and it's easier. But I think it's more about raising the whole generation of women who will change this world.
Exactly.
Okay, so
and the grass, you always think the grass is greener, and I think to be fair, the grass is probably greener in Belgium, on the opposite as in Poland, because I think you are in a really difficult context in Poland, and we still have subsidies, but we need to explain it and to work it out and to put pressures on the politics to keep those subsidies. Mm-hmm. And and for Poland the issue is to go internationally and to try to put pressure on Poland to yes, you know better than me what to do.
Yes, probably. But thank you so much. And now, as we heard these interesting stories from people, from women who organize this kind of centers, now we have an amazing opportunity to meet participants of such centers. So I would like to welcome our girls. Hello. So first, I will introduce you. If you can put your camera on, that would be great. Yes. So I would like to welcome girls from Mädchentreff Zimtzicken from Potsdam in Germany. For those of you who do not speak German, Zimtzicken means cinnamon goats. This is a very, very surprising name for me. Maybe you will explain why. And today with us is Marysia Sachryn. She is 19. She has been a part of Zimtzicken for 6 years, and she goes by they, them pronouns. Hongi Nguyen, she's also 19 years old, and she has been visiting Zimtzicken. So she joined the center when she was 8 years old. She is currently studying, but still she participates in projects when she can. Then next is Merel Fur. She's 23 years old. She joined Zimtzicken when she was 10, and now she works in a theater. and also tries to meet other girls. And Maggie Gaspar. Maggie's 20 years old, and she joined the center when she was 8. And now she's studying in Potsdam. As I learned, girls are like not only participants of these projects and activities, but they are also friends in real life, and they really enjoy each other. So we would like to hear what was your experience with Zimzicken? What did you do there? Like, what do you do now? And how it changed your life? Because I think that if it was such a long time, there is some impact of the participation of these activities on your life. So, girls, please share with us your story.
So first of all, thank you for having us. I will try to share my screen. So we prepared a few pictures. So I hope everyone can see it. Is it actually working?
No, we can't see it.
Okay. Okay, but I think we can start first of all without the pictures because yeah, I don't actually know why it's not working, but yeah, anyways. So as Anita already introduced us, we are all visitors from the Centrów Zimzicken in Potsdam. And as you might have noticed, Marysia is from Poland, and the connection between the Polish girls and the German girls started about 6 years ago, when Vera, one of the social workers in 8 years, 13?
It started, I didn't calculate, but we started actually in 2012.
Oh, okay.
How
it's
many
9
years
years.
is that?
9 years. So it started when Vera, our social worker at Zimzicken, and the rest of the team started to collaborate with a group of Polish girls in Stettin. And then we started to have projects together. For example, we went sailing in summer. We celebrated International Girls' Day together. And this, kind of brought us together a few years ago. And now we regularly see each other at projects if there wouldn't be COVID. We usually see each other about 3 times a week. And usually in the breaks in our holidays. And beside that, the Zimzicken also offers kind of open hours for every girls who want to kind of spend some time at Zimzicken from Monday to Friday. And this is also how Merle, Maggie, and I started to get to know Zimzicken through the everyday life. After school, we went there and we had the opportunity to do our homework there. We had the opportunity to play with other girls and just spend some time aside from school. So there was another society we were in where we had the opportunity to be whoever we want to be. We had the opportunity to talk about topics we don't want to talk about in class, in school, where boys or, for example, also male teachers are present. And we had the opportunity to just be free and experience ourselves and experience a life where in a very tolerant and open environment. And this impacted our life, I think, pretty much, and I think I can speak for every one of us, that it was probably one of a very unique opportunity to get to know other people beside from school, And yeah, as Anita also already told, we are now a very close group of friends. We see each other also outside of the Zimzicken very often. We go on vacation together. We visit each other. For example, last summer we went to Poland to visit our Polish friends there. And it's kind of a family now. And this is all thanks to Zimzicken, the team there, who provided us the opportunity to just, kind of develop ourselves into a more empowered girl we are now.
So what was the most important for you that in this experience? Like, for example, what type of skills and competences did you develop thanks to the center?
I think it's hard to say because we learned very much, and the special thing about it was that it didn't matter what it was, just because we are girls or women. It just mattered how to do it.
And it was also that anything that we wanted to do, that the Zimzicken offered us the opportunity. We had the chance to, for example, play football. We did workshops also where we repaired our bikes. We had opportunities to go skating, things that, for example, in school are not so common to do. And the most special thing about it was probably that we were in a closed group, so it was just girls. Usually there are some, for example, more introverted girls who would be very shy if they're in their class where there are also boys. And it was for us the opportunity to just experience everything in a way we want to experience it. If we have to, or if we want to take part in this activity, we were allowed to. If we didn't want, we didn't have to. And it was our choice, whatever we wanted to do. And I think what we learned was that we are able to do everything we want to do. And we always had the support of Vera and her team. They were always standing behind us and encouraged us to try it, or if we want to, we don't have to prove ourselves to anyone. If we don't want to do it, then we have the strength and the power to say no. And if we want to, then they give us their full support so that we can try out ourselves.
Yes, I think what is very important, what you said about this safe space, that the girls are alone without boys, and then they have this courage to try other things, to do some things in other way. Vera, maybe you would like add something, like from this perspective of a person who organized it. How do you? So maybe you could also add something as we discussed on about this policy side in Belgium and Poland, like because I heard that actually in Germany there was a tradition of creating such girls empowerment centers, especially in East Germany. Maybe you could also say something about this German approach to empowering girls.
I don't want to talk about the German approach empowering girls because it's really a long story, and I'm not at all prepared to give a good speech about that. The thing is, I think what empowered us the most, Hong Ang was talking about my team, and unfortunately, my team is not with us here, but they are the women that are empowering me, because I'm the only like German that has also a German family in my team. I've got a team. Hong Ang's mother is she's my colleague in my team. I learned so much from her when I entered the Mädchentreff Zimtzing in 2006. She came after me just 1 year, and she was already working in the women's center, and she taught me really a lot about accepting people, about tolerance, about that everyone is different and everyone is beautiful and everyone should be happy. That's her main thing. She always says, Vera, main thing is happiness, and that's what everything is all about. We want to create a place, and I've got another colleague, she's called Lena, she's from Russia, Hian is from Vietnam, and we view on the world from 3 different sides, and there's another really great colleague, she's Magdalena, she's from Stettin, and since we met her and the wonderful girls that she brought into our place, it was really the beginning of a great friendship, and this is not only about being professional and about the history of girls' work. It's the main thing is that we would like to create every day new places, and everywhere new places, new spaces for girls where they can have the best time of their lives. That is our goal. We want to give them a good time, and if they have bad times, we want to give them a safe place where they can calmly chill a little bit and find solutions for whatever disturbs their lives. That is what we want to do.
So it's a lot about supporting each other. So maybe can you recall any situation in your life when you really like needed help, or it was something you just was afraid to try or to do, and because of this group you did it?
Interesting question, my dear friends.
For example, you were mentioning something about repairing a bike. So, for example, I'm also a cyclist. I like cycling, and it was always for me. Yeah, I felt bad that that I can't repair my bike. And once I participated in such workshop on repairing bikes. And it was very empowering for me, like something that like I think I've never believed that I'm capable of doing such technical things, and because yes, as a girl I was not raised this way that I can do it, but of course I can. So maybe you have some similar experiences to mine. No. Difficult to give an example. Okay, I understand. Great. So maybe then in the next part of the discussion we will also raise this topic. And now I would like to invite Paulina Banaś. Yes, we can see Paulina. Can you hear us? No.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, okay. Great. Okay, so Paulina lives in Brussels. She works as a senior team leader in the European Activist Incubator. And she created a project in Polish called Dziewczynka upełnomocnić, a powerful girl. And this was a project more focused on parents than like on girls, but rather to help parents how to raise their daughters free from gender stereotypes. So Paulina, please tell us what inspired you to create this project. What was the project about? And maybe then explain us why the language is so important in the empowerment.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for this invitation. I don't know if I'm on the stream now. Okay, but okay. Stay with me. It will be nicer to talk to someone. Okay, I will talk, but I hope you, Aneta, come back. Okay, great. Because otherwise I just see myself and it's funny to speak like that. Oh, perfect. So as you said, the project Girl Full of Power was indeed about creating a space of inspiration and dialogue for the parents in order to help them raise girls without stereotypes. And you have just mentioned this idea that nobody ever showed you how to fix a bike. Nobody ever showed me how to fix a bike either. And why? You know?
I know, because we are
So what is the inspiration of finding a project like this is growing up in Poland, basically, in a very short way. And the fact that I have then spent about 20 years of my adult life unlearning a lot of things that I have heard about femininity, about who a girl and a woman can and should be. And it was very important for me to be able to do something about it. At that time, it changed, but at the time there was not so much offer in Poland around this. And it was difficult for parents to avoid passing on these stereotypes because that was what was available and known. And I was seeing my friends who were having kids and who were just sort of repeating this whole thing because what's available is TV, magazines, certain toys. And it's not even so easy to find a toy, for example, for a girl that is around some kind of engineering skills or something. Everything is color coded. So girls often feel it's not for them and so on. And the point was to try to see whether we can inspire parents to do differently. So that girls, for instance, in the future don't have to spend 20 years unlearning, but maybe just 10, you know, make it easier for them at the start. And the project was sort of trying many different things, but I think what it is known the most for is the campaign which was called Powerful Words, so mocne słowa. And it was a campaign around language. And I have prepared some slides, so I don't know if you can let in presentation one into the screen, because I will just show visually what the campaign was about. And because it's linguistic, I'm going to show it in, maybe we can get rid of the banner because I don't know if it's going to perhaps interrupt. So I'm going to show first a series of slides in Polish, and then I will show it in English. So whoever doesn't speak Polish, just wait, because it doesn't make sense to translate these adjective couples because they're different, because every language is different. So you have to find things. You will see what I mean, okay? So this is the Polish campaign. You can see it was always adjectives and one adjective that was contrasting another adjective. Is this readable, Anata? What's on the t-shirts?
Yes.
Hopefully
Now-
it is.
now
Yeah.
I can
Okay.
see. Yes.
Good. Yeah. So these were some of the slogans of the campaign. Yeah. Voila. Next one. And next one. And this was very popular among a lot of women. And this is in English. Very similar concept, a little bit different adjective pairs, just because of how things work linguistically. Okay. And so I don't know whether I need to explain it, but these are not synonyms, because sometimes people actually wrote to us saying, these are not synonyms. Okay, yes, they're not supposed to be synonyms. But what we were trying to show by this campaign, actually, it's two things. First of all, that women basically hear a lot of criticism, simply. It was incredible how this campaign resonated. And it resonated very much outside of traditional feminist circles. And I think that was perhaps its biggest success. That we have people who did not at all identify with the slogans around feminism, or they perhaps didn't understand in what way, didn't feel that in any way it applied to their lives. People who identified with conservative circles quite a lot, who wouldn't want to change the abortion law in Poland and so on. But they had seen these adjectives and they were like, oh my God, finally somebody said that. Like, we have been receiving so many messages when people were saying like, thank you so much. This was just like the best moment I spent on Facebook today. And so it really meant a lot to a lot of people. And I think it was because, we came up with this campaign together with Mira Orlinska, who was a volunteer on the project. And the moment we sort of clicked with this, we started like coming up with more and more adjectives. Like at the end, the list was like 40. And then other people started adding things as well. And it just really resonates with almost every woman in Poland. And language is used to control us, to keep us in place, to remind us that we need to be quieter, smaller, that we shouldn't be claiming too much space. And the criticism that is in these adjectives that are chosen, it basically cuts wings, because when you are hearing this as a little girl, you are not thinking like, no, I'm living in a patriarchy, and you're just trying to, no, I mean, you have no idea. You have no idea. And you're just acquiring this, and you kind of start thinking, okay, probably something is wrong with me. Something is wrong with how I speak. Something is wrong with what I want. Something is wrong with how I feel, how I'm perceiving things. And we describe these phenomena in many different ways. We talk about gaslighting. We talk about the fact that women's pleasure is not put in the center, or women's happiness is not put in the center of our societies and how they are built and so on. And here we wanted to show how all of that is reflected in the language that is being used. And of course, somebody can be both stubborn and persevering at the same time. But how much more often are you going to hear the critical adjective? And how rarely will someone say, wow, but you're really diligent, rather than like, oh my God, you're so picky and attentive to detail, or something like that. And the experience, for instance, that has driven that campaign, that was very strong for me personally was just a feeling that no matter what I am, I'm just never good enough. That was the feeling that I had by the time I was 18 after growing up in Poland, that, you know, either you're too quiet or too loud. Like there really never is that perfect space, you know? And really the campaign was a nice success in a sense that a lot of people have joined. At the beginning we were soliciting people, because that's what you do. You invite people to join the campaign, you offer the t-shirt, but then with time people see it and they want to be part of it, and they buy the t-shirt and they post on social media. And we had, I think I did a count at some point, and I think we had more than 50 different people, sort of influencers who have micro influencers and bigger influencers who have joined the campaign. So that I think is probably the biggest success of the project, and we can say that is what it was about.
I think this is very powerful, this change of language, because like I often hear these questions that, okay, so you're a feminist and you feel discriminated by the society, and you say that that you were raised in a particular way, but I've never heard in my life that you should do this or that. And this I think you showed in your project, that this is like this hidden layer of language, yes, that we just use different adjectives for boys and girls, and most people are not conscious about that we use language in this way. So that's why I think it's so powerful. And as you said, that you also like reached out to people outside the feminist bubble, which is like the biggest success. This is all about.
It just resonated with them, because I think it is a shared experience of every woman. And why do we have the slides in English? I didn't make them for this presentation. We actually made an attempt to run this campaign in English with volunteers of European Activism Incubator, and I explained to them the campaign, and they were like, yeah, totally. Like in the UK, same thing. Like they immediately recognized it. So I would even say, you know, this is a shared experience of all women. I would like to comment on what you are saying, what you said about boys. Here with these adjectives, I think it would be only partly true that there is for sure a tendency to interpret the behavior of boys in a more positive way. They receive much fewer criticism. They receive fewer
Boys will be boys.
Yeah, they receive fewer normalization messages, sort of this kind of messages that sort of slaps them in the wrist and so on and show them their place. That I think is true. But one of the interesting experiences around running the project was that there was very often people coming and saying, what about boys? Which I think shows a little bit our mental state, that as soon as you do something about girls, people say, what about boys? And it's like, well, wasn't a lot of things about boys already, but still it was somehow important. And I think it was coming from the fact that mothers had boys, and they also felt, oh, maybe we should do something there. And we thought, and we said, okay, let's see if we can collect also a series of adjectives for boys. And it was very difficult, but there were some ideas floated around. And we realized, for instance, that if a boy is showing emotions, he would be called Beksa, which it's not something that necessarily a girl would easily earn. Because in fact, as a woman, you can cry at work. But as a guy, you really cannot do it because you are finished if you cry at work, you know? So
exactly. Boys don't cry. This is like, I think that's
exactly. So there is also that you know, the patriarchy is also eating its own tail, and its own worst enemy. But it was much more tricky, because I said, okay, let's come up with 5, then maybe we do 5. And it was difficult to get to 5, but it was also difficult to find adjectives with which men would want to identify, because you would say, oh, maybe he's not Bexa, maybe he's sensitive. It's like, would men want to wear this? It was really, so there was so many layers to it, you know, when you start going like, how would this work for men, that you really discover the complexity of this whole language thing.
Thank you, Paulina. I think we will come back also to boys in the next round, because this is something which pops up like in in every discussion. So now I would like to show you a video prepared by Magda Korczyńska. Magda couldn't join us today because she just couldn't, but she prepared this video about her project. Her project is called how to raise girls. Magda is very active on Instagram. She has a blog. One moment. Okay, I have some technical problems with showing you video, but I think that I will be able to do it like in few minutes. So maybe we will start now the second round of our discussion. So now everyone will be allowed to speak. So let me add you. Yes. Okay. So I want to ask you, like, how would you define what is girl power? Because as we hear with other organizers discuss, this is like a slogan from a T-shirt. But what does it actually mean for you? Like, what are like the key competences of girl power? Like, what is the most important you would like to develop? Who wants to start?
I don't want to start. I would prefer to Maggie or Marysia to start. Okay.
Marysia?
I need a minute to think about it more.
Okay, so maybe Maggie?
Like, maybe not a deep question, but
maybe girl power means to be brave no matter what, and to don't be scared to take actions on yourself, or on your own, for example, and also to encourage other people for a good for a movement, for example, or for a campaign or political statement or something like that.
So I can speak now. I think that girl powers also can mean, at least it means for me, that it's nothing wrong to be vulnerable, and that it's okay to show your emotions while not like always thinking that these stereotypes are right, and like to support and show like to support other people, girls in this in this situation, that like they have support in you, you support them, and that no matter what kind of person they are. They have many people around them. And I think it's mostly about that, but it's just my opinion.
Agata, Paulina? Hint?
My first thought when you asked what does mean girl power was that because this is a slogan, and this is a slogan which is very often used against emancipation, but only to sell products, and this is not what I what I am thinking about when I'm talking about or when I'm thinking about girls power. And in my opinion, what is really, really important is it means to be able to think autonomously, to decide autonomously, and to redefine what the power means. And because we really need change. We really need to change the way of thinking about what is valued in our communities, what is important, what is financed, etc., etc. This is what I understand when we are talking about girl power.
So it's only me left. Do you hear me? Okay, perfect. Well, when I think about girl power, at first I was thinking about solidarity, power not on your own, but how when you connect with other women and other girls, how you can reinforce and that's the solidarity part. But then I start thinking on the most individual part, the really personal girl power. For me, it means that you have an understanding of your context, and based on that context you can make choices that are empowering to you. That's for me the real power, then the core power that we're talking about. Then that's my
I
And
had
Paulina?
like thousand thoughts per minute when you ask the question. It's very interesting. I'm not gonna try sharing it, don't worry. But the first thing that I thought was that girl empowerment for me means that by the time she's 21, she becomes a woman, an empowered woman. I think a lot of us are arrested in the state of a girl, a child. And it actually, if we don't empower the girl, it's very difficult to then become the empowered woman.
I think I understand what you mean, that that in our culture there is this approach to women to be always a child, a girl, that's submissive like a girl. And
We are
not
infantilized a lot as well.
Yeah, I think I really liked what Marisha said, that this is also this right to being weak, and that yes, I think that this is this paradox, yes, that the power, the real power is to say that we can be vulnerable, that we can be weak, but that we are not giving up, and we are aware that we can change something. Now I would like to try again with sharing the video. Maybe this time it will be better. Okay, something is happening. Okay, no, still there are some problems with sharing the video. My next question is like whether you observe that there is some like shift in a way people want to raise their children. Are people getting more aware, or this is only like a bubble who has this higher awareness, or this is like something broader? Because I think that the problem is that so many people are unconscious. That I remember when I talked once to a colleague at work, and he had a daughter. She was, I think, 2 or 3 years old, and he said that I'm not going to raise her in based on some gender stereotypes. That I'm totally gender neutral. And I thought, okay, that's really great. And then I saw a girl, and this was like a very, very girly girl, like in a beautiful white dress, and of course, this kind of dress that you are not allowed to go anywhere because you will be dirty and so on. And this is such a simple thing, but this is like very crucial for experience of being a girl and how we are perceived. Because of course that when she was dressed this way, even if I consider myself as a as a conscious person, but of course my first words were, "Oh, you're so beautiful." Yes, and this is like so difficult for me not to use these words, because this is so automatic in a way. And I think that that we all struggle with it. Like probably feminists less, but all parents have these problems that even if they want to be gender neutral, it's very, very difficult. So what do you see? What is there a new trend, or this is only like something what's happening in the bubble?
I can start off. I think there has been a shift. Here I would like to mention the Rebel Girls, the book, which has been translated into, I think, 35 languages. And to be very honest, it's not even a great literature. But it has been a culture shift, because now when you go to a bookshop in the UK, there's a whole shelf with women biographies, and this did not exist before. And there has been a lot of this type of pressures, where we were talking about the princesses, in general the characters, and the for instance the producers of the shows that are now global have become more aware, of how they are showing girls, and that maybe the girl doesn't just have to be pretty princess. Maybe she can also ride a dragon. Okay, she's still riding that dragon in a short skirt, which is annoying for me. It's like, there's still this a little bit, but at least she's riding the dragon, so yay. And you have a movie like Merida or Maleficent, where it's not even focused around the romantic love. It's actually around love between women, not sexual, not romantic love, but love between generations of women, mother and daughter, and so on.
My name is Magda Korczyńska, and I'm the founder of Jak wychowywać dziewczynki, how to for children, both
Please continue. I'm sorry
because
that
the movie started playing, but if you want, you can play it.
No. Now it's now it should work, but please continue.
Okay. So I think there has been a shift to some extent. I think that also a discussion around how Barbie looks, and how Barbie now has, the versions, both acknowledging the existence of people of color, but also of different body types, and also of the fact that women may want to have other careers than just being a beautiful model and so on. So you see some shift in the products and so on. But something that I'm a little bit afraid of is that this is around, okay, because this is selling now. So this is one danger, that, you know, we're kind of coming into just yet another fashion. And there's this whole discussion, you know, around the fact that we live in a capitalist system, and a lot of things are driven, you know, capitalist system, which is also patriarchal and colonialist. So a lot of things are driven by profit. And one of the things that we've heard tonight about is financing, questions of financing, because girl empowerment centers or girl empowerment projects are not actually bringing you money. They cost money, but they make sense to do. But in a capitalist economy, that's very difficult to, you know, make sustainable. And so there is the question around, should we be even selling feminism and so on? So this is one concern. And then the second concern is that I feel that everything is still in the same framework. That we're saying like, okay, now you can go, you know, and be an astronaut and so on. But it's not really making this very strong shift when we are saying, okay, hold on. So you build a system in which men went to work and women were at home, and we weren't allowed to universities, we weren't allowed to vote, we weren't allowed anything. Now we managed to get access there, but all of these institutions and everything is still working like it used to. And that actually creates a lot of problems for women, because women now have very high aspiration, but really everything is still against them in terms of, you know, you have to go to work and you have to pretend you never have a period or menstruation, never have a period or menopause or anything like that. You still have to hide away these things. You cannot combine work and breastfeeding, or it's extremely difficult, because the whole paradigm hasn't really shifted, you know. So I think there is some steps forward, but I'm hoping that future generations that are luckily represented here are going to be more strong about saying, okay, can we actually look at the design of the institutions, of the workplace, of the cities? Are they actually considering a life cycle of a woman and a needs of a woman, and the fact that we have the right to be comfortable in these spaces, in these places? And that is, I think, the next steps for you guys to take.
Yes, so maybe a generation of girls who participated in the centers will be this wind of change. Agata, Hint, Maggie, Marysia, would you like to add something?
I can add something about. I actually haven't seen the shift, but what Paulina said was really, I agree with that. But I wanted to talk about one family. I think I saw them somewhere on the internet, but I don't sadly remember the name. But I remember that they were raising their kid like they were using the gender neutral pronouns to their kid, and they weren't like putting any etiquettes on this kid. The kid could choose whatever clothes they wanted to wear, whatever gender they wanted to be, everything. And I thought that it was really nice, because the kid could choose whatever pronouns they wanted, the name, everything. And I think it was really cool to see a family like that. But it was sadly the only family I saw that did that. But I think it's a really nice idea for other families to use, maybe in the future. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only thing I wanted to add.
Thank you. So Agata,
I also think.
yes.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I also think in some points to what Marisha said, that there could be some improvements according to that. I mean, okay, I see there are some parents who are also thinking about neutral names to giving it to their children and something like that. In Germany, for example, it's like when you are giving a neutral name to your baby, you need to have a name which is gender specific, like who tells you what gender it is. So it's something that also needs improvement in Germany, and I think it's very sad. And I hope that will change in the future also. And one thing that I have in mind that I also think it's kind of difficult for me personally, there's something like gender reveals in the internet or on social media where parents, celebrate the gender when they get to know it. And I think it's kind of stupid because you would also be happy if you have a boy, you would be happy if you will have a girl or something like that. So I think for me personally, it's a stupid tradition or something stupid to celebrate, but it's just my opinion. Yeah, at
Yeah,
that point.
that's very interesting that there is this trend of gender revealing.
Yeah,
So yes, this goes against what we said a bit
yeah.
earlier.
Because in many parts or in the world or many countries in the world, you have, for example, in India, many women are getting killed for being women, because the male part are the one who give the tradition to the next family, to the next generation, and so on. And I saw a documentation because of it. I think it was yesterday or a day before it, and they now have a big problem because 45 million female person. Well, how can I say it? Aren't there, or there's a maybe someone can help me, or maybe you know what I mean, but yeah.
You mean selection
Or they have a deficit of
Yes,
45 million female person, and that's a big problem now in India, for example. Yeah, something like that.
in India and in China.
In China, for example, and I think that the shift is also getting better in the western part of the world, but it's still a big issue in many countries, like in Africa, in Asia, and in Europe as well, in South America. So yeah, there's improvement.
Okay.
I
Agatha?
I just would like to add one thing to the discussion, because maybe it will be interesting for the viewers and for future readers of our guides, because what was really important for me in our international cooperation and during one of our seminars which we had was the discussion about adultism. So the problem which girls faced is not only discrimination because of their gender, but also because of their age. And when we are talking about parents and about what we can do to raise our girls to be more empowered, to be more independent, etc., we really need to think about the issue of adultism and how can we, as parents or as educators, avoid being to avoid adultism. So there is a lot about that in our guide. So I really recommend you to read them, because there is a lot of interesting things.
We are waiting impatiently. Hint, something from you? No? Okay, so maybe now I will try to show you this video Magda Korczyńska prepared for us. There is no voice.
In Science Magazine, and I'm the founder of Jak wychowywać dziewczynki, How to Raise Girls, which is an educational platform for parents of girls. My project is based on blog with educational articles for parents. but I'm also quite active on social media, mainly Facebook and Instagram. The biggest audience I managed to gather on Instagram. Currently, there are more than 160,000 people following my profile. I started my project around 3 years ago, being a mother of 2 girls. At that time, my younger daughter had 2.5 years old, the older one around 5. And I quickly realized how many stereotypical expectations we place on children, and especially girls. I constantly heard messages to girls like, don't be so loud, behave well, be careful, don't do that, and so on. And I started also to think about my own upbringing, when my own aspirations and traits were suppressed just because I was a girl. And being a girl meant to have a certain set of traits which were apparently different than the ones that were expected from boys. When I started to observe what's going on around children these days, I was struck that many of our expectations are really old-fashioned and still very limiting for children, both girls and boys. And that's when I read an article that was published in Science magazine. In 2017, there was a research conducted on 5, 6 and 7 years old children on gender stereotypes and how they influence intellectual possibilities of children. And the main conclusion of it was that 6 years old girls are less likely than boys to believe that they are really, really smart. Something changes around 6 years old. When the girls are 5 years old, they are really confident in themselves and they don't see any differences between them and the boys. And when they turn 6, something changes in their minds and they start to believe that they are less smart than boys. And the other conclusion of this research, which was particularly important for me, was that girls not only believed they were less smart than boys, but they also avoided activities that were presented to them as activities meant for really, really smart children. So the conclusion of the researchers here was that those gendered notions of brilliance are acquired very early, and that they have immediate effect on children's interests. And to be honest with you, when I read this article, I was quite frightened. My older daughter was around 4.5 at this time, and I was thinking, oh my God, I just have 1.5, maybe 2 years to prevent this belief to emerge in her. And that's when I decided to start my project, to educate myself. And when I gained some new knowledge about it, and I thought, wow, this is so fascinating for me, maybe there will be some more parents that would like to join me on this journey to become more conscious parent. I decided that my mission will be to educate about parenting based on science, not stereotypes. I feel that stereotypes are so ingrained in us that the only way to fight with them is through science. The other aspect of my project that emerged later on is that for many women, being a mother of a girl is quite, let's say, therapeutical experience. Lots of women following my project say that for them parenting a girl is some kind of journey to decode their own many harmful messages that they've got when they were little girls, and that those messages almost on a daily basis are influencing the way they parent their girls. So that's why it takes a really conscious decision and effort to transform those messages, and I must say I also feel this way, that it's also the same for me. 97% of my audience are women, but I see also a growing amount of men that are joining us and who want to educate to become better fathers for their girls. And after those around 3 years of leading my project, I see that there is a huge need for parents to educate themselves, but also to educate some other people who are taking care of their daughters. Many times I receive a question, for example, how can I react to what my mother says to my daughter? One of the most controversial topics I shared were the ones with a word feminism in it. I see that many Poles are really distancing themselves from being called a feminist, and although the values that are promoted with feminists may be really close to them, they still have some kind of a reservation and they don't want to be called feminists. One of the most controversial articles was the one titled "How to Raise a Feminist Son," and I received tons of negative comments, mainly from men. Also, all the posts about menstruation were quite controversial. This year I joined Okresowa Koalicja, which is an initiative led by Krótka Foundation. And the goal of the initiative is to educate on menstrual poverty. And I was quite surprised that every single post or article that was on menstruation brought really a lot of comments and controversy. And finally, the most common question I receive is, what about boys? And I must tell you that my way of thinking about gender stereotypes and parenting evolved through these years. I was starting with the solid belief that the girls are the ones who need more support and more confidence. But now I got to realize that boys also suffer a lot from the gendered norms and those really rigid and toxic expectations around them. So now I believe that we cannot separate discussion about raising girls from the one that gives more freedom also to boys. Thank you for inviting me. I hope that you will have fruitful discussions. Maybe next time I will be able to join you in person. If you have any questions or ideas to share or comment, please contact me and have a good time. Bye-bye.
Okay. So again, there was something about boys, but I think that today it's
exactly the same question. Yeah.
Yes, we are running out of time,
exactly
so
the
maybe
same
this is the idea. What should we discuss at the next Congress? So maybe then it should be a discussion about boys. So as I said, we are running out of time. So my last question, but please just reply like in 1 or 2 sentences. What is your message to parents or to girls? So either like how to raise daughters, or how to be a powerful girl, in one sentence. I know that's not easy, but please try it.
I can say, if it's okay. So my message to girls is to not be afraid to show your weak sides, to be who you are, and to be confident in what you think, like in your opinions, because it matters. Whatever you think, whatever your ideas are, it matters for everyone. And yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Thank you. What's next? Maggie?
Yes, I can be the next one. I also would say that you can allow every emotion that you have. You can be happy or sad. Everything is okay and everything is all right. And that You can try whatever you want. There is not such a thing specifically for boys or for girls. Everyone can do everything as long as if they are okay with it, and as long as if they want it, and that's the most important thing. And just to be and always to look that they feel comfortable with what they are doing and saying and feeling.
Thank you. Hint.
Trust yourself. Trust yourself. And I've seen something passing by on Facebook a few weeks ago that said the woman's instinct is actual intelligence. So trust yourself. That would be my
Message. Yes,
message.
thank you. Agata?
Okay, my message is to all of us, all of the viewers, girls and adult people, etc. Let's create the safer spaces for girls and those who define themselves girls and those who were raised to be girls, because we need those spaces to experience our strength, our courage, and solidarity. So, yeah, this is my message.
Thank you. And Paulina?
Again, very inspiring questions and too many thoughts. But maybe I will focus on a little girl that is sleeping next door who is 6 months old. And she has helped me discover that, because it's like, how do you empower a baby? You know, she doesn't yet have these cultural issues that we're talking about. But actually, I'm realizing every day that it's actually my attitude towards my own body and my attitudes towards the time that can have an empowering effect on her, because women's body is in a way taken apart in the capitalist, patriarchal, colonialist society. We have these incredible beauty standards and the questions around aging and around being postpartum, they are very difficult questions for women. And I find that the way of empowering her is to actually showing this absolutely rebellious love towards myself, my body, no matter how it looks, no matter how many flaws it has, you know, no matter how it's aging, no matter how it's lost this, you know, magazine perfection because of the pregnancy and so on. And also not to rush, because we are always in the future and running for success and trying to be someone and trying to be somewhere else, but actually pausing and sort of defeating everything that we have learned, like unlearning really the rush and the criticism and everything, and really being there in this very beautiful moment of like, oh my God, I created a life.
Thank you, Paulina. This is a wonderful message. And my message would be based on this book. I hope you can see it. It's don't try to be perfect. Be just brave. Take risks. So at the Congress, we had this nice tradition of selling books written by women about women. This year, as we are in the remote mode, of course, we are not selling books, but I wanted to use this opportunity to recommend you this book, because it really fits in our discussion. It's about like how girls and women face this problem that they always need to be perfect in every domain of their life, and because of that they are very often unhappy, because they are not following their dreams, they are not taking risks, because they are just afraid that they will not be good enough. Thank you all of you for this wonderful discussion. I think we could continue because this topic is very interesting. So we are closing the first panel discussion of the Congress, but of course I invite everyone for the next discussion. So tomorrow will be about Catholic feminism. Then on Wednesday will be the discussion about love. Then on Thursday, marital rape, and we finish with the discussion about migration. So thank you once again, and have a nice evening.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you
Thank you for the
too.
invitation and for organizing the panel, Anata.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you
thank
very
you
much.
so much.
Bye.
Thank you.